Hello, we are at North Central College in Naperville, Illinois, talking to Professor of Philosophy David Fisher. How are you, David?
I'm fine, Lee. It's a nice, brisk, cold winter day.
Yes, it sure is. It took us 3 times before I was able to make it up here. We had a blizzard one day, and then we had freezing rain the next.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's Chicago. What do you expect?
Yeah, it was worth the trip, though. So, you are a professor of philosophy at North Central College here in Naperville, but you're also an Episcopal priest, are you?
Yes, I'm an Episcopal priest in the Diocese of Chicago, which is this area, and have been since 1976. That's when I was ordained.
I see. And that was, well, tell us, you went from Country Day to
Carleton College,
okay,
in Northfield, Minnesota. Then I had did a master's in religion and drama, as it turned out, at Union Theological Columbia University. It's a joint program.
In New York?
In New York.
Oh, okay.
And then spent a couple of years overseas doing frontier interns in mission. It's an ecumenical work-study project in Rochdale, Lancashire, which is the northern part of England. Enjoyed that very much. Came back and ended up, after several other things, in a PhD program at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. And that's where I did my final graduate work.
I see. Wow, you've really lived an awful lot of places. And then how did you get back to the Chicago area?
Well, I had a teaching job for a number of years. I think it was 9 years at, excuse me, at George Williams College in Downers Grove. And when I taught there, I lived in Evanston. So I'd commute from Evanston to Downers Grove. My kids benefited a lot from going to school in Evanston. As you know, it's an excellent school system.
Yes.
And it was a nice place to live. Evanston was very comfortable.
Yeah, we enjoyed living there too.
But in 1986, the college closed, financial exigency, as they say. And so I was adrift. I ended up teaching 2 years at Santa Clara University, Santa Clara, California. And then a friend of mine who was at North Central called and said, "Fisher, you ought to apply for this job." I did. And in 1988, I began teaching here.
At North Central.
Taught here ever since.
I see. Yeah. And so you're part of the Archdiocese in Chicago for the Episcopal Church, and you perform functions and whatnot as a priest?
Just the diocese. We don't have an archbishop, but yes. I'm in the Diocese of Chicago. I am currently associated both with St. James Cathedral, which is downtown, and Emmanuel Episcopal Church in LaGrange. And I help out with services, adult education, and yes, I do other things like marriages and baptisms and funerals.
Wow. What a success story. I mean, you have been all around doing all sorts of different things, and you're in academia like so many other people in our class are.
Yep.
But you've got another component. You're also a theologian.
That's true. Or at least I sometimes think I am, yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. And you're married, are you?
I am married. I've been married now for 20 years to Sally Fowler, whom I had met many years ago in college. And we met 21, 22 years ago. I courted her and we married, and we've now been together for 20 years. Happy years.
Wow. That's fabulous. Now, I know you were telling me that you've also lived in Europe, too.
That's true.
Tell me, was it the Balkans that you've had a connection with?
It was really one of those unexpected circumstances. 1995, Sally was teaching at Roosevelt University, And into her office walked three young women looking for advice. They were on a one-year scholarship of some sort. And one was Hungarian, one was Czech, and one was Macedonian. Well, it turned out over the years the Macedonian needed more support and care, and so we connected with her. We visited her family, got very close to all of them. We invited her brother to live with us here, and we sponsored him at North Central College for a couple of years, and then through graduate school. So he is back in Macedonia now, but we still visit our family, our Macedonian family, from time to time.
I see. And you've been to Kosovo, have you?
I taught 2 summers for a summer program in Kosovo, in Pristina, which is the capital. Yeah. It was a summer university, which is sponsored by an outfit called Academic Training Association.
I see. And I understand it was still somewhat of a war zone when you were over there.
Yeah, the first year I taught in Pristina, it was still, the war was over. The military operations had stopped, but there was still fighting in various places. Not where I was, but there was unearthed ordnance, mines, in various places, so you were told not to go there unless you wanted to have a short lifespan.
Wow.
But here I am. I avoided stepping on the mines, so.
Wow, that sounds pretty scary to me.
It concentrated your mind.
I could concentrate. I guess so. So, you travel quite a bit, you were telling me. You all go where, Paris, and you speak quite a few languages too, don't you?
I speak Spanish, I speak some French. My wife is very fluent in French and loves to be in Paris, so that's fine with me. I have a fluent francophone to translate for me and order food and that kind of thing. We also spend time in England. I have good friends in London, in Scotland, in the south of England. So yeah, we have connections in England and in France, but also friends in Spain, in Switzerland, in Belgium. So yes, we get around.
Now tell me about Latin. There's a language that I never had the opportunity to use, but you've actually continued on in your Latin, using Latin, haven't you?
Well, it helped in grad school, and it's helped here because I teach. One of my classes uses Latin texts, and so it's important to be able to look at the original, not just to the English. And so the Latin is, I wouldn't say as strong as it has been, but I can still read Latin with a dictionary and translate. So yeah, Latin's still there thanks to Country Day.
Well, good. Well, I must say, I think you look terrific.
Thank you.
I didn't, when I have these interviews, I never know what I'm walking into. And, but you haven't changed at all. Oh, yes, you've got that beard. But, and your hair's a little gray, but you can kind of see where it definitely was, you were a blonde. And, of course, that's what I remember you about at Country Day. And you were active in drama at Country Day, weren't you?
That's true. Very active in Players. Was also active in theater in college, and my master's actually is religion and drama. So I have that interest that's been with me a long time.
Ah, yeah, you were in the Troubadour and the Mask.
Yep.
Were you in the Mary Institute senior play? I think you might have been in that too, where we actually had the Mary Institute girls.
I don't think so. One of the things I did when I was in England the first time is help run a youth theater workshop with a local school's theater director, and did some directing and coaching then. I haven't really done much since.
Okay. Well, I can't thank you enough, David. It's been a real pleasure. We just had lunch at a fabulous restaurant. That was just a Mediterranean restaurant. And, thank you very much for your time, and hopefully we'll see you for the reunion.
thank you very much for coming up and having this time together.